Hello, friends. Matthew Zachary here. You know, you've been told that the American healthcare system is broken. It isn't. It's working exactly as designed. Delays, denials, dehumanization. For decades, it's been profits over patients. You need proof? What's the first question they ask you? What insurance do you have? That tells you everything. And it isn't just big health insurance. It's the American Medical Association. It's labor unions. It's employers, politicians from both sides, and even the IRS. Yes, the IRS. They built it this way. And now it's time we, the patients, rig the system in our favor. Here's the prescription. We, the patients, understanding, navigating, and surviving America's healthcare nightmare. My new book by me, Matthew Zachary, a 30-year brain cancer survivor, the founder of Stupid Cancer, the host of this podcast, Out of Patients, and co-founder and CEO of We the Patients. Pick up your copy of We the Patients today wherever books are sold, or visit wethepatientsbook.com to learn more.
Ever notice how life's best stories don't happen in your living room? They happen on the open road, out on the water, or parked under the stars. At Progressive, they get that you want to focus on the experience, not worry about the what-ifs. That's why they offer quality insurance designed for your ride, whether that's a boat, RV, or motorcycle. Adventure with confidence. Visit Progressive.com and see how easy it is to protect your favorite way to get away. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in D.C. Prices vary based on how you buy.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. My guest today is Emily Mendenhall. She is a medical anthropologist at Georgetown who studies what happens when people get sick in the ways the system just can't explain, can't code, and therefore can't bill. She spent years talking to patients who keep getting told everything looks fine while their lives just fall apart anyway. I don't know why I'm laughing. She also went back to her hometown and, get this, Okoboji, Iowa during COVID and watched a town of 800 people that balloons to 200,000 in the summer make a very clear decision about who they're going to protect and who they're not. We obviously then get into a conversation about long COVID, which turns out to be less about a new disease and more about an old problem. You're going to hear what happens when patients get sent to 17 specialists and still walk away with nothing but a shrug and a bill. You're going to hear why medicine struggles with complexity and how proof became the gatekeeper to care. Emily does not deal in slogans. She deals in lived experience and uncomfortable patterns that have been hiding in plain sight for a very, very, very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Emily Mendenhall. My name is Matthew Zachary. This is Out of Patients. Let's get started. All right.
Wait, can you take a picture of me? Because I look fancy.
I'll do photos afterwards.
Oh,
there's
fun.
tons of pictures after.
Just want to send it to my mom, you know.
Oh well, don't worry. You'll walk out
or
of here.
my kids, they'll think I'm so cool.
A star. You'll walk out of here a star. Wait, how many kids do you have?
2.
Boy and a girl?
2 girls, 10 and 12.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you really are in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Aging parents?
Yeah, late 70s.
Okay, so we talked about this, the sandwich generation.
The sandwich.
I told you my show's basically a Gen X angsty.
Yeah.
Why the hell can't we have nice things?
Well, my husband's I have to actually go home after this because my husband had to fly to Atlanta and take care of his dad who's in the hospital. So, yes.
So this is the consummate Gen X sandwich fuckery show.
Yeah.
Isn't that good stuff?
Yeah, but I'm right there with you.
Yeah. No, we are. Exactly. I told you, like, before Back to the Future, you're in. After, we'll figure it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's officially grandfathered in the Gen X Club.
Amazing.
So I don't even know where to start because you're so much at this point, but I just have to... I'm not going to pronounce this right, and you know what I'm about to say?
What?
Okoboji.
You nailed it!
Is that really how you say it?
Yeah, amazing. Okoboji.
Real? I was like, I could say the Okoboji. All right, how do people mispronounce it the best?
Okoboji or Okochobi. They say that a lot.
Okochobi.
Yeah.
So it really is Okoboji. Is obviously that's Native American.
It's Dakota.
Yeah. And this is in Iowa? Okay, so basically Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Were you born in a cornfield?
I was born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Because that's my complete stereotype. Anything west of Jersey is the Pacific Ocean.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So total rural. Okay.
Where are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
Why not?
No, that's fine.
No, because I intro you before you're introed.
Okay.
So we just kind of jump right into it.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
By the way, we're recording. Okoboji. That's right. I love that you kind of turned your hometown into a test case.
Well, I always wanted to actually write a book about Okoboji because it's this kind of weird place. It's a tourist town. So in the summer, they call it the 100 Days of Summer, where most people make their money in the summer. And in the winter, it's just like any old rural town in rural Iowa. So it's like a really interesting place. And I've always thought of like some novel I would write there. And I never expected to write a book about a pandemic in my hometown, but that's what happened.
Where in Iowa is it?
Northwest Iowa.
Is it near the Field of Dreams cornfield? Because that's all I know.
Other side of the state, but it's like basically it's closer to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, than anything else.
So way up north a bit. Okay. How many people were in this town when you were growing up there?
Well, in the town, so there's 800 people.
I'm thinking like in cars, there's like the one blinking light at the intersection.
Yeah. No, not exactly. But there's 800 people in Okoboji, but in the area, so there's like 8 contingent towns that are together, and there's like 3 high schools, and there's different. Basically, Okoboji is 800 people, but the area is 17,000. And the school I went to high school in Spirit Lake, which I talk about in this book, is like 5,000 in that town. But in the summer, it's like 200,000. It's like 150,000, 200,000.
Okay, so you have Walmarts basically.
Walmart's it. Yeah. I talk about Walmart a lot in the book, actually.
Yeah, I know that. I know. Like, they didn't sponsor the book, but they certainly have a prominent position in the book.
They actually did a good job. It's the only place people would mask because there was a policy.
I know. God, like, we can get into that whole weird thing that happened this decade. It is 2026, by the way. Let's take advantage of the fact that, is it over? Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, I just came from a meeting at Columbia with a bunch of incredible scholars and patient activists about long COVID. So it continues, the conversations continue and deepen and change.
Is there anything new about long COVID that we're just still learning all these years later, or is it just going to be this thing we live with?
Basically, invisible illness is about the fact that long COVID isn't a new condition.
Right.
It is a different virus triggered a number of vulnerabilities, and long COVID presents in such different ways. But I think what it's done is it's caused a healthcare revolution, and it's caused all this incredible research, just like COVID did. But it also is showing the cracks in our healthcare system. And I think we're at a moment of really cracking all the way through and having to reimagine what healthcare is and what we do, because it's just so hard to get good care and pay for it. And I think long COVID is a really good example. We had these long COVID clinics that were really just like switchboards, trying to get people to see 17 different specialists. But at the end of the day, people were too sick to go to them.
Right.
So how do we care for people in different ways and meet them where they are? Home visits, for example, having a place where you can actually go see a doctor and spend 2 hours and see everyone you need to see, rather than...
That's called 1846. Have you met the Old West? The apothecary? Yeah.
Well, it might have been better than what we have now.
I mean, they have the sarsaparilla, I heard, cured everything back then, so...
Yeah, but I mean, like the elderly, people who are living with disabilities, people who it's not safe for them to really move and leave their home. I mean, there are other ways to do this. And I mean, when we think about the fact that everything we put at the center is profit.
Yes. I've met our country.
That's why we're here. So it is maybe at not this exact political moment, but in the future, we're going to have to reimagine how we do this. And hopefully we'll be at a place where people are ready.
So it's obviously not funny that you mentioned how this country manages healthcare, in a sense. That speaks for itself. That's been my bête noire for 30 years at this point now.
Yeah.
I have a book coming out, actually, which talks about the origins of the fuckery. Did you know, and I didn't know this after the research, the very first president who attempted to start universal healthcare was Teddy Roosevelt. Did you know that?
Well, he attempted to do a lot of state level good for people.
Yeah. Nice try. Sorry, bro.
Well, I also tell my students a lot, one way to think about it is because the culture of medicine was so ad hoc at the time of nation building, there was no way to even imagine what a health system would look like. So we have written into our Constitution is there should be a school in every neighborhood.
Yeah.
What if we had, there should be like in the UK, if you go to the UK, every neighborhood has a school and a clinic.
Right.
Well, the NHS was set up after World War II. That was a very different time than 1776 when, that was well before even medical schools were founded where and then you had to bring a corpse to medical school to even go to medical school.
Right.
So,
and leeches were a great thing back then.
Yeah. And, and leeches may work for certain things today. Like, don't diss it till you try it,
Yeah, exactly.
But there are a lot of ways in which we've dismissed old ways of seeing and knowing and healing when in fact, maybe what we're doing now isn't so great.
No. And, having experience in rural America, that's 80% of care. And we tend to forget about that because, I'm in New York. Everyone just goes to NYU, right?
Yeah.
How did you decide, with your congenital awesome nerdiness like I have here, to get into, I feel like that's the greatest oxymoron ever, science politics.
Oh, yeah?
There shouldn't be politics in science.
But we keep saying there's no politics in science, but everything about science and environment right now has been made political.
Yes.
So we have to talk about it rather than scientists are like, well, I don't do politics. And I'm like, well, everything about what you do is political.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. It's a place to really amplify these messages that we keep ignoring or we're talking about in the shadows. And I'm trying to really bring out the politics, bring them out of the shadows. Everything from deep sea mining, for example, to protecting animals, to, long COVID, everything. There's politics on everything that we touch.
There's that Midwest accent I was waiting for. You said animals. That's your poker tell.
Oh, there's more.
No, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for something that said, is she really from Iowa?
You should have interviewed me in August after spending like 6 weeks with my family.
Okay.
I come back and it's just like, when I'm there, my husband's always like, oh, you're slipping into Iowa. It's fun.
Well, it's like that fried green tomatoes syndrome when you go down to North Carolina for a week and you come back talking like Kathy Bates.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so how'd you lose your accent?
Oh, I don't know. I've lived far away from Iowa more than I lived there now. I mean, I go back every summer to see my family, very close to my family.
Right.
But I mean, I've lived in the UK, I've lived in India, I've lived in South Africa and Kenya, and, we travel a lot. I've lived in DC for 13 years.
You're a global village of 1 or 2, or actually 4 now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It must have been fascinating to go abroad for the first time and see how it's done in other places. And I won't say better or worse. It's just different. But is it true that it's based on the culture of the country? I like to think that our country is more like me first, us second, and that's terrible way to think about this. Are other countries the opposite? Are they us first, me second?
I would say we are the most us first, me second. Or me first, us second country, I would say. Yeah, it's really different. Well, I had the unique experience of having a British grandma. So I grew up in the middle of Northwest Iowa, but I spent a lot of time in London as a kid seeing my family. So I, from an early age, had a bigger view of the world. I mean, some of my friends never even, never left the state or the region until much later. I mean, I was one of 4 kids who left the state to go to college. Half of my high school class didn't go to college. So at all. So I knew I had a different perspective from a very young age, and I was able to travel. I remember when I was 12 and I was in Copper Canyon and we were traveling and learning about the Tarahumara.
The what?
The Tarahumara indigenous people in the Copper Canyon. And
I don't know that tribe. That's amazing.
Well, anyway, it was like my family's nerdy. And so we were like, traveling around and learning about the indigenous culture. And so I am from Northwest Iowa, but my family introduced me to a lot of things at an early age.
That's wonderful. My first interaction with Native Americans was in 1980. My family took our Clark Griswold cross-country station wagon trip, and we stopped at Four Corners.
Oh, amazing.
So my first experience with Native American culture was when we took the obligatory Clark Griswold station wagon trip across the country in 1980, and we stopped at Four Corners. And for the geography nerds out there, that is the intersection, the only right angle intersection of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. Perfect little plus sign. And in 1980, it was the middle of nowhere, but they had these beautiful tribes selling all sorts of rugs and jewelry and and I still have stuff from back then. So then I was aware that there is shit left of Jersey. Developed a real appreciation for it. But having grown up in the culture itself, my God, you're a hybrid with a British grandma, and you lived in India, and you expatriated to DC. Has there been one, I just have to ask the question, one or more, like, you can't pick your favorite kid, but do you have a particular place you feel like you roost more naturally?
Oh, wow. I just feel like a chameleon. Actually, my husband Adam and I are both chameleons. Actually, someone said that we're like a tornado hitting a party when we come in because we're like, hello. And we encourage, my husband's actually from Montana too. All of his family, he grew up in Atlanta, but his whole family's from Montana. So we also go out to Montana, which was really interesting because like we'll go floating with his family and then be in like a very rural town in Montana. And I remember in the middle of COVID, I think it was 2021, we went out there. We didn't go out there in 2020, and we were masking, and doing our thing, but we were on the river, and then we put masks on to go to this place, this like burger joint in this small town in the Big Fork. And we went in, and someone's like, you can't get served if you wear a mask in here. You got to leave.
Oh, one of those places.
Yeah. And my daughter, my baby, she starts sobbing. She was like 6 and she was like, why can't I eat here, Mom? Didn't really understand. And I was like, oh, he's joking, honey. And, my kids have been kind of aware of moving between worlds too. So I think it's really helped them. But it's important, like in DC, in our little cocoon, it's very left. And in the town I grew up in, it's very right. And my kids are able to see that, there's different cultures of thinking and knowing even in the U.S. And, we talk a lot about that and what it means. I
mean, watching from New York City, the rest of the country saying, if you want to walk in the store and you're wearing a mask, we're going to shoot you, right? That was our impression of like the Wild West of masks in other states. Florida's like, what virus? Just, okay, great. They were all out there doing their shit. Which wall did you choose to bang your head against, realizing that science shouldn't be political, but people are often infused with bias by accident?
I'm an anthropologist. So I'm both an anthropologist and an incredibly nosy person. Like, I want to know everything about you. And I'm going to like ask that question that I probably shouldn't ask because I don't have a filter. And like, that's who I am. And so I just think people are really, really interesting. And, I wasn't that person who had never met a Trump supporter. And I also know people who like attack me online who I grew up with. And so when I wasn't surprised when we started driving west, and I was making my kid pee like in the middle of a cornfield because we didn't want to go into the rest stop. And then we get there and like no one's wearing masks. And then we get to this gas station really close to Okoboji, and there are these guys. And I was actually making my kids pee in the cornfield, and my husband went in to get some treats, beef jerky. There were like 2 hours left, keeping them going. And he comes out, he's laughing, and he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I walked in there, and they're like, where are you going? And my husband's like, we're going to Okoboji, but I've been driving since the East Coast, And they're like, oh, wow, you going to go party, bro? And, we are still like very much, not only are we in the DC where it was really locked down and like there are police standing outside of grocery stores making sure you're masked, but also we're public health people. Like, we're very passionate about this, and our whole professional community is like stretched thin. So my husband's like, what is happening? So that we're like, this is really different. And he was like, I actually say this in the book, but he was like, we've hit the Wild West,
I don't have the answer to this. I'm genuinely curious. In the wash of red state, blue state, purple state, mask, no mask, gun at the door, no gun at the door, we're not going to serve you, are going to serve you, if this and this and this, where do we net out? Was there any one right answer?
Well, I think that actually what I argue in Unmasked is that we have in groups, we have out groups. And to be honest, Okoboji didn't act against the community. They actually acted with the community. They put economics first, partly because that's what Trump was saying they should do. And that was a political performative, GOP performative politics. But there were also a lot of people actually couldn't eat in the winter if they didn't work in the summer. And so they actually made a collective decision to invest in the economy. And they said, if you're vulnerable too bad, that's not our priority. So
that really was a we.
That was a we. I would say that was a we.
A different kind of we.
A different kind of we. And I think that's what people don't always think about. It was a collective decision, not completely. I mean, people who were really vulnerable were really scared and really angry. And, you know, one of the first people who died actually got sick from a son. And, you know, it was horrified that he killed his dad, you know, and that happened again and again. I talked to a friend I grew up with, and he was like, you know, I didn't really think about it. I actually went to the bars to get COVID. Then I gave it to my family, but my father-in-law got it and he almost died. He's like, I kind of forgot that would happen. I was like, okay.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bonkers. But the one reason my family was so invested is my brother-in-law was leading the COVID response, which was very intense. And that's why I started doing interviews. And then, you know, I'm so nosy. I just kept interviewing everyone. And, you know, and everyone was wanting to talk to me because we hadn't talked in 20 years, you know, and they're like, oh, yeah, let's catch up. So we talk about COVID and they'd be like, do you remember that time in middle school? You know, it's so funny.
Yeah, again, I was smack dab in Brooklyn the entire time. And even we had splinter groups where, like, if we saw somebody, like, in a car by themselves wearing a mask, really?
Yeah.
Like, even that's a little extreme. There are still people that do it today. And I guess maybe, fine, if you're even... We're going to talk about the invisible illness shit in the second half of the show, because that's a whole other bag of fuckery, right then and there. You know, the but you look great is the theme of most of my episodes. I had someone on the show who's like the queen of lupus, and she's beautiful and just this gorgeous, stunning woman. She's brilliant, and she's all fucked up on the insides, and no one believes her.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll get to that in a second. I want to take a break. Hopefully, not an ad from Robert F. Kennedy. I doubt he's doing ads on podcasts. All right. We'll be right back. The book is called Invisible Illness, A History from Hysteria to Long COVID by you, Emily Mendenhall. That's you, by the way. University of California Press, an academic publisher.
Well, you know,
sort of.
It's the trade arm of the academic press.
Okay.
But I got in the boardroom at Norton and Basic, and they're like, no one's going to buy a book about long COVID. And I actually wrote that on my blog because actually most of the big five didn't want to publish a long COVID book. And I kind of shared that with the long COVID community, and they were so enraged. I mean, patient communities and patient activist groups have a lot of opinions and a lot of...
Well, my limited experience with the long COVID groups they were a little maniacal.
Well, you know,
I'm being kind.
People are suffering, and I understand that.
I'm not undermining
you know?
the suffering, but they were a little maniacal.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot going on there, you know? It's a tough road.
But again, they want to be seen, but you look great, right? So let's talk about... Invisible illness has been around forever. People like to think that, oh, we're all sick now. No, we just didn't know we were all sick 100 years ago. And we had diphtheria. That's kind of gone now, all right? I like the penicillin stuff, right? Although measles making a great comeback, right? All thrilled about that stuff. So with that said, yes, invisible illness. Do you have personal experience with this? Like what is, if you're willing to disclose, your personal healthcare fuckery, if at all? And you look great. I can attest on the radio, you look great. I say just don't look under the hood, but we're all informed by the shit people can't see.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of things you carry. I mean, I have had an anxiety disorder my whole life, and that's just
the Jewish part.
Yeah. Well,
that's my fault. That's my people's fault.
You know, but I did, and I actually still am experiencing this. After I had COVID, it took me like 6 months to recover. Like 4 months, I had really intense fatigue and my anxiety went really out of control. And one of the theories of what long COVID does is it lights a fire under whatever's pre-existing. So that wasn't a huge surprise that my anxiety got really out of control and I was able to calm it down. But it took me 6 months to exercise again. And now actually every time I get sick, it takes me several months to get back to baseline. So I don't identify with having long COVID, but I am not the same as I was before. I think I don't identify with it, though, because so many people experience such intense suffering, and I feel like mine is pretty limited. And I had a student who got really sick. I was finishing Unmasked, and I had a student who just got really sick, and I had him write down everything for 18 months until he got better, and actually got a full ride to Columbia Medical School. So he really recovered and is doing amazing.
Bravo.
Ken Kenton, so proud of him. Kenton Kaplan. But I just saw it firsthand and really kind of walked with him.
Do you think we've gotten a little oversensitive to shit happening for no reason?
What do you mean?
Well, bad things happen to good people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to channel my full Gen X, and I have a lot of people that'll back me up. We've moved a lot into poor me versus poor we.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm, again, in my book, and I guess I'm hawking my book, but it's called We the Patients, because we're all patients. But what does that really mean to each person? And I remember when I started Stupid Cancer with intention, it was never about better or worse. It was about different.
Yeah.
And the collectivism of different and tolerance of different. Because, yes, I could look to my right and see someone who died last week from cancer. And I could look to my left and see someone who kind of got past squeaky clean with just no chemo. Right?
Yeah.
But it's not a contest. How we moved away from this collectivism with invisible illness. Everything seems very siloed and me.
I think invisible illness actually has just cracked open the shell to see it. I mean, I think that our healthcare system has just been getting more complicated the more privatization that's afflicted throughout and the less access to care that especially low-income folks have. But we're seeing a kind of gobbling up of healthcare systems by private equity and kind of the growth of healthcare companies. And I think that's really making it harder. And the fact that we're basically defunding scientific training and scientific research
That's another podcast with bourbon.
Yeah. Oh, God. Living in D.C., too. I mean, I go to the NIH all the time. I go to the National Academies. And actually one of the things that we talk a lot about is like we're in this moment, everyone's protesting no kings and it's great. And we're protesting no kings, but like we're protesting all the time. It's exhausting.
Yeah, I know.
In DC. Maybe it's the same in New York. But the people feel like they have no representation and that their ideas don't matter. And, I think currently what's happening is only going to make it worse. And I feel like it's just going to get so bad that things are going to crack down and break apart. And we're going to have to reimagine something better. And we're going to have to pull it out of the ashes. But I'm hoping actually with science politics and actually putting things out there and talking about what's going well and really what we can do. Because one of the things we're doing with this publication that I started called Science Politics, actually it's a 4-woman team and we're very horizontal and egalitarian. It's like this very feminist project that I'm really proud of. It's
well
been
done.
Really fun. They're amazing. Well, with Science Politics, we're trying to be very solution forward and think about and imagine what we can do and what can be actually effective at this moment. So it's been really exciting because like you read the headlines all day long and they're just the worst. Like everything's bad and you feel really depressed. But what about if you read about the science and also reimagine like, well, what can we do at this moment that would work or help the situation? And so maybe that's my cheery Iowa side. That's like, let's be positive. But at this moment, I think we all need a little bit of a kickstart. So that's what we're kind of thinking about.
How do you attack science politics when everything is boiling the ocean? And how do you pick and choose from the least worst to the most worst things that are worthy of this narrative? And who do you hope listens?
Well, I teach. So I'm an anthropologist, so, I do with all the nosy, squishy questions and look at the questions from the ground up. But I teach in a School of International Affairs in the School of Foreign Service at Georgetown University. And so for the last 13 years, I've just been absolutely wrapped in policy debates and discussions. And so what science politics does is it really talks about the policy. It talks about like, well, how do we tackle this? And we're actually doing this guerrilla journalism. We're actually printing our first print issue soon. And then all of my students are going to go around the city and put the print issues in bathrooms and bars and Congress where all the staffers hang out and where all the Congress go. Because, what can you do? Like you can complain or you can put really good ideas in front of them. And so this is one approach. And so it's talking about what do policies do? How do you protect ocean ecosystems from deep sea mining? How do you reimagine care for a long COVID patient? How do you imagine how we respond to a pandemic when we have absolutely no pandemic preparedness plan or a stock? We have no
You
pandemic.
mean the one we had that was destroyed the week before? Or the pandemic stockpile that they destroyed. Right.
How do we do this? And people are doing it. To be honest, my friend Rebecca Katz, who I talk about her life and her work in global health security and Unmasked, the first chapter, she's actually preparing a DC city-wide hospital system pandemic response because the state and the federal level is completely failing them. So she's figuring out, well, how do we do pandemic response from the ground up at the community level and then coordinate across communities because our federal level is completely washed.
Yeah, but that just makes you think about, like, don't swim in the part of the pool where there's pee.
Well,
how do
maybe.
you possibly coordinate a pandemic response based on state?
Yeah, I mean, I think that she's doing...
I've seen who's south and north of the District of Columbia.
Yeah, yes. Well, but it's city level. It's not ideal, right? I mean, that's why we have this at the federal level. That's why it needs to be a federal program. That's why, I mean, healthcare, health insurance, and the whole system of healthcare needs to be a federal program because it reduces costs and it creates organization. But when you don't have that support and people are suffering, you become creative.
Well, when logic is cheaper, you hope someone's actually paying attention, and that's very rare.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to break down this acronym, which I just don't want to even... Your dissertation was on the VIDDA.
No, vida. It's like la vida, like the life.
Okay.
Vida, the vida
and
syndemic.
I remember this term, syndemic. I remember, I think I had one show in 2021 about this, and I forgot what it means. Well, I turned my old podcast, The Stupid Cancer Show, into Adaptations pre-pandemic. So Adaptations was running before everything happened, and I've been on such a long time. I have a lot of listeners, and then I'm like the what the fuck is going on guy. So I had immunologists and therapists. These random nerds came on my show in the spring, and I learned all these terms, and I forgot them. But what does VIDDA stand for?
So when I worked at Cook County Hospital, now Stroger, in Chicago for 5 years. And I worked with this amazing physician, Elizabeth Jacobs. And I worked on this immigration and diabetes project. And my dissertation was actually the last step. So I'd actually done like 4 different projects with her. A little ethnography, did a big survey, did a bunch of focus groups. And I just spent a lot of time there thinking and watching. And when I was writing my dissertation, I'd interviewed 121 Mexican immigrant women. A third were undocumented, many were Spanish speakers only. And I basically had interviewed them about their diabetes, but what they wanted to only talk about was social stress and anxiety and depression, trauma, comorbidities, like all of these other things that were difficult in their life. Like in the conclusion of Syndemic Suffering, which is the name of what the dissertation was, it became a book. I talk about Teresa, and she's like, I came into the clinic with 4 problems, and my diabetes wasn't one of them. My sister's husband was sleeping around. My daughter wasn't going to school. Like, there were just like all these things that were pissing her off and making her sugar spike.
So basically, it was Festivus.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But, and it made me really think about, well, what do people do? What does a diagnosis do? And what diabetes did, I found, especially for patients, is it enabled them to go into the clinic and to get access to healthcare that they would not any other way. And, I've done research in Nairobi and Johannesburg and in Delhi, and I found out that people really navigate their health systems through diagnoses, and it provides opportunities for access to care. And it really makes you think about and learn about health systems by looking at people's lived experiences. Yeah. So that was my first really deep dive into people's lived experiences with illness.
So just that. Nice and simple. I loved when I went to your website. It's got like this like awesome tongue-in-cheek greeting, which I read into a little too deeply. It just is basically thanks for visiting. And I feel like it's like, we're sorry you're here. All this is fucking crap. But hey, it's a party. Like, it really brought me back to when the Stupid Cancer website basically said, we're sorry you're here. We're angry too. Be pissed with us. And that's just the opposite of every other cancer organization. It's like, we're acknowledging you're really angry. This is like the greatest like quiet sass. Welcome. Thanks for visiting. Everything is awesome. It's like that meme with the dog and the fire in the background. It's like, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah. I mean, when someone called me the funny, happy girl who studies depression, and I was like, well, right now I look that way.
Yep. Question I ask most of my guests is, what do you do at 2 a.m. when all the shit hits the fan in your mind?
Well, I do take an anti-anxiety medication now, so I sleep very well.
So better living through chemistry. Got it. Okay.
Better living. I mean, in my 30s, I had babies, and I was going up for tenure. And for years, I wrote this book, Rethinking Diabetes, in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep because I was just so wound up and my kids would wake me up and then I couldn't fall back asleep. So yeah, I would write. And I don't do that anymore because it's not a healthy choice. But I usually listen to the Calm app. Just calm it down. Turn it off.
Wow.
Shut it down.
Do you meditate?
Yeah, some. I do Ashtanga yoga, which is kind of my thing. And my eldest is really getting into it. She went to my last practice with me.
Wait, how old?
She's almost 13.
A 13-year-old doing... Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
it was awesome. She loved it. I was so excited because I have been obsessed with yoga since I was a teenager. And it's a very special thing to me. And I brought the kids when they were little, but I haven't really brought them as they've been older because I didn't want to make it be like a chore or something I made them do. And they're both kind of interested.
Wait, how do you calm your mind? We're both like crazy type A frenetic. I'm a closet anthropologist.
Yoga. I do yoga. I do meditation.
Okay.
I run. I snuggle my kids, my dogs. I don't know.
So you find your place.
Yeah, I have a glass of wine. I mean, whatever it is.
All right, so liquid courage. Okay, fair.
How do you do it?
I play piano.
Of course, beautiful.
My kids are 16. They kind of need us less than they used to, but I just keep busy. I try to fall with style every day.
But also writing for me is really relaxing. And actually with Science Politics, I do all this editing and rewriting and working with authors. And it's like when I actually am writing a book, I have like this constant ideas going on in my head. And my family gets really mad because I like leave things cooking on the stove and burning on the stove all the time because I'm like, oh my God, I have an idea. I have to like, so now that I'm doing Science Politics, it's these like little projects. So I'm really enjoying that because I don't get as obsessive about it. Although I am writing a novel right now about my great grandmother because she was a spy for the Irish War of Independence and lived under a secret identity for 7 decades.
You just buried the lead. We should have started with that. We're like 36 minutes in. I needed to know that up front.
It is an amazing story, and I'm learning how to write creatively. It's so fun.
What was the most recent Science Politics piece you wrote about and why?
Well, I do a lot of editing. I did write a piece on long COVID with Elba Azola, who is a physician at Johns Hopkins University Hospital. We co-authored a piece about fragmented care for long COVID, which we've kind of already talked about. And then I wrote this really cool piece about the power of nursing with a couple other nurses.
Oh, yeah, with that shortage. We need to bring that back.
Yeah, well,
I made it sound easy.
Well, I actually think that nurses are the future and the solution because, first of all, they have way more bedside training and they can really be creative in the community, kind of like we talked about. Actually, one of my theories is that if we lean into the CVS model of clinics and expand those because they're everywhere, or put primary healthcare clinics in every YMCA or community center, then people will be able to. I mean, the great thing about the YMCA is you can drop your kids off in the nursery and you can go see your doctor, and you don't have I have literally been with my gynecologist and my kid was crawling on my face. I'm not the only mom who's experienced that, but it enables you to actually care for yourself while you're caring for everyone else. So reimagining how we organize clinics.
Is the long COVID the main focus of what you talk about, or are there adjacent things that are equally terrible?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I work with a group called the Women's Health Advocates. They're really focused on endometriosis.
Yeah, I have a whole chapter on endo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I started writing a long COVID book, and then I was like, this isn't about long COVID. It's about women, and it's about not believing women. And so the whole book is actually about it's like the most feminist thing I've ever written. It's about misogyny. It's about the history of not believing women and why we're at this moment with long COVID.
Right.
But talking about how long COVID is part of a bigger story. And it's really important to kind of see that this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of women being dismissed for their suffering. And, this is obviously 10 times worse based on if you are undocumented, if you're a person of color, if you don't have...
Or a hyper-Orthodox Jew that thinks women are nothing.
Right, yeah. Or if you're living
the wrong side of my people. Sorry, guys, not a sponsor. If
you're living with a disability, there's all sorts of really intense things that have manifested throughout history. And it's just, I needed to tell the longer story. Yeah. And, I really like writing books because you have so much space because I'm so chatty. And you can't get it. You can't get it done in 1,200 words sometimes. But then sometimes 1,200 words are really important because it's all anyone will read.
I'm going to introduce you to my friend, Jessica Federer. Jess Federer was the first female C-suite digital health officer in all of life science.
Oh my God.
She worked for Bayer. They were like the biggest
Well,
brave
we do
group.
need donations for science politics,
Yeah.
so hook me up.
But she was on the show. We're really good friends, and she told me that women weren't even in clinical trials till the 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're shutting down all these trials on women and all of these like long-standing women's health studies. It's really scary.
It's terrible. It's unbelievably terrible. Well, I wanted to get to the bonus round because what I do is and you're new to the show, so you don't know. I actually ask my ChatGPT a question about you. We didn't get to AI. All right. Yes or no? AI is the best use of us or will kill us all?
We'll kill us all.
Okay. We're agreed. All right. Nice knowing you. So what I do is I feed my chat information about you from the internet, from what you send me, and just my opinions. And I ask it one question of every guest. And I say, if you were a Netflix series, what 3 pop culture icons would embody your character? Silence. All right. And you're never going to guess. But it's batting like 85%. So we'll see how you react to these.
Okay.
Two. You are Lara Croft.
Oh.
Not the blockbuster version, but the original pixelated one who spent time in her dark, unstable spaces chasing truth that institutions either ignored or buried. Lara does the same work. You do the same work inside medicine. You go into the places no one wants to map, where evidence is fragmented, stories contradict, and the official narrative falls apart. All right. Number 2, you are Fox Mulder from the X-Files.
Oh.
Picked you over Dana Scully. Not because he's chasing conspiracy, but because he's drawn into what gets dismissed. He builds cases out of what others call noise, and you bring that same instinct to invisible illness, treating the discarded and the unverified as the inconvenient signals worth studying.
Oh,
right?
Love that.
And this is a deep cut to MTV Liquid Television. You're Aeon Flux. All right. I'm going to show you who she is. She's an anime cartoon from the 1990s.
Oh, love that.
But anyone listening that knows what Aeon Flux is, either Google it or you're nodding your head. Of course you are. Clinical, observant, and operating insight systems that look orderly on the surface but break down under scrutiny. Moving through power structures without trusting them, often exposing contradictions simply by refusing to play along.
Well, I love that I'm like part anime, so
You're
that's
part
cool.
anime, you're part Tomb Raider, and you're part X-Files.
Love it.
That's a great way to sum you up. I'm thrilled that we had a random like PR date to put us together and get you on the show.
This is so fun.
The only thing missing is you're not a doctor. Work on that. You don't have enough credentials.
I have a PhD. It's enough.
Well, you're the doctor that
Actually,
can't.
my family thinks my family has been very disappointed that I didn't go to medical school. And one of my best friends from childhood, I promised I'd like room with him at the University of Iowa Medical School, and he's always been disappointed. So, you can tell my dad.
Right. If is there a doctor in the house, yes, I can't save your life. That kind of doctor.
But I can talk to you.
Yes. Dr. Emily Mendenhall, editor-in-chief of Science Politics and the author of this is your new book. That's your old book. Invisible Illness, A History from Hysteria to Long COVID by Emily Mendenhall. Wherever books are sold.
Wherever books are sold.
Look at that. I'm so happy to have you on the show. You're welcome back anytime. This is good energy.
Yeah, this is a blast.
This is like Gen X neurotic awesomeness.
I love it.
Yes. Well, take care of yourself.
Thanks so much.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time on the podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.
Out of Patience with Matthew Zachary is a production of Matthew Zachary Worldwide. The executive producer is Matthew Zachary. It is mixed and edited by Kyle Moore. If you like the show, ratings and reviews are always welcome wherever you get your podcasts. If you have guest suggestions or would like to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, email podcast@matthewzachary.com. For more information about Matthew Zachary and Matthew Zachary Worldwide, visit matthewzachary.com.